Hello, it's me. It's me. Too far away from the microphone, probably. There we go. Let's get closer to one another. Just checking my levels. You know, I can't see anything. Hang on. And 1, 2, 1, 2. That looks all right over there. Looks all right. How are we doing? How are we doing? I'm knackered. Knackered to the point of delirium. So I'm imagining it's not going to be a long one tonight. I'm also distracted because the telepathy bundle here that I have sadly has a whine, and that's distracting. Can you hear that? No, this is not to say, I mean, I don't know. This is the loaner unit from Source Distribution. Can you hear that? Well, I mean, it's slight, but it's doing my head in. So I'm going to try to ignore it. Am I? Yes, I'm going to try to ignore it. So, hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. We did have our, this is our second live stream in almost as many weeks, because we had that the party and auction night, which was great. I'd like very much to thank you all for taking part in that, for getting into the spirit of that. I had my doubts as to whether it was feasible or going to work, or was just going to be messed about with, or whatever. But it turned out to be, a fun evening of raising a few quid, which has been brilliant. And people bought some stuff, and I've sent it all out, nearly all of it out, and it seems to have gotten to where it needs to go, which is great, because I keep getting in a tears over FCC forms and import forms. If you're sending something to America, it's almost to the point that it's just not worth it. But I've also, because I sort of researching it, hey, how do I fill out this form? The fact that there is so little information out there makes me think that no one fills in this form, and so it's probably just all right. So I'm just kind of going on that assumption at the moment. But that works for me. I think that works for me. So that was good. So thank you for that. I appreciate you all coming out and coming out to play. And here we are again quite quickly. And we got through the football. I am not blind to the football, despite the fact that we did our last live stream all over it. It's a bit more exciting now. And so, yes, I did watch the last little bit of that, which was great. So that's that out of the way. What we talk about. So here we are. So welcome. You're very welcome. This is the Molten Music Technology Molten Chat live stream, which follows on from the Molten Music Monthly. In the monthly, I talk about all the most exciting things that thrilled me over the last month. And here we come to unpack those potentially, or to be honest, we never really do that. I mean, I always say that we do that, but we rarely actually talk about what was in the monthly. We just seem to chat, talk about synths and stuff, express some ideas, possibly poke around with a product, hopefully one that isn't making a whine, and do that and kind of relax and have a nice time. And that's definitely the plan for this evening. Relaxation is key, I think, because I've reached the end of my energy, I think, and I have a whole nother week. There's another week starting tomorrow. It's Monday again. Heck. And it's beginning of the month, and I haven't finished the things I'm supposed to do at the end of the month. So that's the sort of vibe I'm giving off today. So we probably should start off with a bit of a beer. So I've got Green King IPA, level head, session IPA, or I've got good old neck oil. What do you fancy? What do you think I should drink first? I've also been able to drink as well because I have kids now who want to get around the place or are working, part-time jobs and stuff. I'm having to pick people up at ridiculous times and driving about the place. But last night, Alfie had his McDonald's shift was actually during the day for the first time, as opposed to a late shift. So I didn't have to go and pick him up, so I could sit. We had some friends round, we played some games, and I was able to drink, and I had 3 whole beers. It's very exciting, very, very exciting. Anyway, so it's nice, and similar this evening, I don't have to nip out and get anyone, so that's also cool. So let me say hello to a few people in the chat. We've got 50 odd people knocking around. That's really nice. Hi Steve, hi Ken, good to see you. Alkanoid, Alkadroid, Guinness, ooh. Ghost Ship. Oh, Ian, you off the booze at the moment, but that's probably the best. Although, I mean, I had, funny enough, on Friday night, I had a bunch of the Beavertown 0.3%, and that's not bad either. But the Ghost Ship is probably winning in the very low alcohol stakes for me, I would say, at the moment. Hi, Adrian. Jason, good to see you. Andrew, hooray. I'm still pondering over your YouTube comment, Andrew, over what it was you were talking about. I'm sure it was important, and I'm sure it referred to something that I said, but I just can't remember what it was that I said. Gas soldering irons. Are you sure? Really? Didn't know there was such a thing. I suppose that way you can't leave it on. Da, da, da. How do you do that? That's clever. So I can't mention everybody's name. I'm just saying hello in my head to people. Good to see you. Lots of lovely people. Great. Good evening to you too. And to you. Wine. I'm already hammered. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I have to say that wines and earth hums are some of those seemingly unsolvable problems that we have. Particularly, I think it affects people in that home project studio / throwing it all together, not really knowing what we're doing kind of arena. Yeah, which is definitely me. And so trying to track these things down and trace them. It's like, I mean, just playing guitar, for instance. I've played a lot of guitar this weekend too. I've done 2 services today. So I'm saying, yeah, I get an earth hum through my guitar, which is really annoying. And it's like you sit down and go, can I solve that? You know, I just can't be bothered. So those are the sort of things we just have to deal with, because you haven't got an employee, a nice studio tech to run around, spend his day trying to work these things out. Hey, what's going on? Hey, there's somebody over in Twitch. God bless them. Lovely to have you over there, Phobos. I was getting errors earlier telling me that the chat wasn't working in some of the other destinations. But so if you don't get a typed, I should be able to read everything coming in. I just don't know that I can post out. But that should be fine because I'm going to be talking and waving from here. So it's great to have Twitch going on, rather. Dots, hi, how you doing? Great to see you. Now, very sadly, Dots, I have to say, I'm not going to make the August the 1st thing. It's really frustrating, and that's annoyed me no end. But hey, it's for really good reasons. It's the only time in the entire summer that me and the wife can actually get away on our own for a couple of days. And I had to make a decision as to what was more important. And I have to say, it was tricky. EMOM or actually maintaining my marriage, those 2 things in the balance. So I am terribly sorry. I'm just not going to be able to make it. But I hope you have a fantastic one with that. That should be great. That should be great. But anyway, while I just wanted to get that out there, while I saw you and was reminded of that before I forgot. And yeah, well, there you go. Make of that what you will. Hi, Los Angeles. Good to see you. You just built an ST Modular crack on. Crack on? No smoke so far. Great. That's a huge build. I mean, that's enormous, isn't it? I mean, does it all come surface mounted and it's just the front panel stuff? Tell us more. Alcadroid. Alcadroid. Isn't there a character called Alcadroid in in that board game about Tokyo? What's that called? I can't even remember. Oh, anyway. Level head first, says Jason. All right, somebody's got something in. Yeah, USB can often be the cause of the trouble. This one isn't, funnily enough. Oh, the Bruxa Brooks A. Is it a Brooks A? Because I mean, I did watch the video with your man from Make Noise talking about it, and I thought at the time, gosh, he's saying that really weird, and then I couldn't remember what it was that he said, so I just have to do my own, as you know, as I do, barrel along by myself. Yeah, sorry, Dot. I am sorry. I am that genuinely annoyed at that. Yeah, I was talking to someone this morning about Glastonbury coverage. It always makes me emotional. I'm not sure what it is. It's almost so a bit like Later with Jules as well. These are a couple of things. It's something about the live music nature and the extraordinary positivity that's in live music, and the extraordinary positivity that's in the projection of Glastonbury, not in the real thing. I've been to Glastonbury many times, and it is a mixture of I don't know how to say it. A mixture of different levels of hell with moments of extraordinariness, mind-opening, awesomeness, but mostly hellish. So Glastonbury is a strange place. You have to go. It's really important, I think, to experience that at least a few times in your life. But it's also a place of darkness and deprivation and the worst of humanity, as well as trying to be the best of humanity. So the reality of it does not reflect what we see on the television. But I love what we see because you kind of just get the positivity of it, and it's extraordinary. Live music is just so amazing, and these people the footage is fantastic. You get all these close-ups as well as crowd shots, and just the energy and the vibe, the aura you get off these performers, I think it's just amazing. I think it's a fantastic thing. For all of its flaws and hellishness and faults and price and cost and hypocrisy and capitalism, it's an extraordinary event, I think. And Gaz is there this weekend, of course, playing with his surfing Wilbly Wobblies. What's he do? What's his band called again? Anyway, I bet he has a fantastic time. I would love to play Glastonbury at some point. I don't know how I make those things happen because I can't get to play anywhere most of the time. So yeah, anyway, so the Glastonbury coverage has been great. I haven't really watched any of it live. So I've been so bleeding busy, but I hope to go through it at some other point. And I will weep quietly to myself watching it late at night when everybody else has gone to bed, and just soak up the awesomeness of it. That flipping wine! Well, I could turn... See, the thing is, I don't want to turn it off because I just got it working. And that was not as easy as one would like to think. I'm already cursing the manual and going, well, this is a disaster. I mean, this is Dreadbox. They're lovely. What are they doing producing such a crap piece of documentation that doesn't tell you anything, that asks you to do stuff which you have not explained in the slightest? It says press the menu button. What the heck is the menu button? Which one is the menu button? I mean, I know I've got two, but what does that even mean? And then they're supposed to be coloured, and the menu button doesn't change colour. So what does that mean? So, this will all be in my review, of course, all be in my report. Yes, it will. Anyway, let me get to the bottom of the chat before I get too distracted. Da, 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 da. Oh, good. You had a look over on Twitch. Great. Fantastic. It was all SMD pre-solded. Lots of pots and jacks. No instructions. Yeah. 4 hours. Yeah, cool. I do have a couple of larger builds knocking around. I mean, I've got like a dozen kits that are all starting to get mixed up on my desk. It's like bits of bags fall out, just because one's desk, the stuff on the top of one's desk shifts around over time as you look for something, and things get tipped over and tipped into other things, and things get lost. So at some point I'm going to have to try to tackle some of these kits and find myself without any of the stuff that I'm supposed to have in order to make the thing with the thing with the thing. But I will get to it. I will. Orbital Underworld. Did the Batumi get sold? I don't know. Did it? I had a tray of stuff. Where's the tray of stuff gone? Hang on. What did I do? Oh, it's over there. I don't remember. Yeah, no, I think it did. I think it did. Did it? Stop asking me questions. Got over the fence in 93. That was a big year for getting over the fence, I think. Gosh, that's not quite as nice as I thought it might be. But hey. No, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I never have got over the fence. I've always sort of paid for my ticket because I'm like a good boy like that. I mean, I have fantastic Glastonbury stories. I suppose. But then we don't. I mean, we do. Everyone does. Oh, have I got to the bottom? I have. No, we're not. We're not doing a auction tonight. No. So yeah. So here we are. So any questions about anything at all? Anything you want me to talk about before we get stuck into this? I'll just have a few slurps of beer before I get into anything too complex. I get the feeling that it is. I've played with the telepathy a couple of times at shows and not made any sense of it whatsoever. It's a strange beast, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. In some ways, I'm not sure what they're thinking. There's some definitely interesting intention behind it. The fact that it's MIDI and CV is odd, but also is actually sort of using MIDI in a modular sense, which I really appreciate. Yeah, it's something like what the chord pilot and the Nobular stuff does, because MIDI, MIDI in a modular context, you don't really just want to plug a keyboard in. That doesn't seem to be the spirit of it. You know, you want something else going on, or do you? Yeah, but I don't necessarily mean it's a keyboard thing. I just mean that it's the way that these are put together and stacked. I think is a really good idea, and it's a good use of TRS MIDI. I mean, let's face it, that would be someone to find a good use for that protocol is really great. So yeah, there's definitely things going on. I will do it in a minute. I don't know if my head's in it. Some people complain about capitalism. I would agree. Yeah. Yeah, but we don't use capitalism correctly, though. I mean, capitalism is all about markets and how everything is essentially run on its ability to be successful in a free market economy. And capitalism is rarely running in a free market economy. It's always running in a twisted, biased, funneled economy, which is designed purely to transfer wealth from the masses to the few. That's all its purpose, really. It's never a fair capitalist system. Never. Otherwise, all the banks would have gone down, would have blown up by now. You know, all these companies would get helped out. There would be no subsidies. There would be, you know, farmers would have to actually farm stuff and make it cheap enough, or we would have to pay each other more in order to afford all the things we're supposed to be able to afford. So if capitalism worked correctly, then I think it would both be, it would either potentially be a complete disaster, which is sort of the inevitability of it, really, or it would produce the utopia that we're all looking for. But that's never going to happen because that's not our nature. Our nature is not to is not to look for the good in each other and to share what we have. Our nature is to grab and pull to ourselves. At least that seems to be the case. And so we have to hobble capitalism because it won't work. But because we've hobbled it, then people take that as an opportunity to hobble it in their favour, as opposed to hobble it in a socialist way to raise everybody up and make everybody's life better, you know. So, political thoughts for the evening. Yeah, Peter, exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Bang on, yeah. It's a supermarket economy. I think it's a corner shop economy. I don't know. Do I mean that? No, I mean, I think you can say it's in our nature to self-preserve, to look after oneself. You know, that would seem to be natural, and it may be that in order to do that requires community, but ultimately we start from the starting point of an animalistic self-survival instinct, perhaps, and then I believe that we civilization ourselves beyond that, hopefully, to the point where an evolved society will share and look after itself and not see itself as the center of attention. That's, I kind of think what I think. Do I? I don't know. I'm a bit tired, as I say. Sunday Night Live, yeah. You come to me and I'll tell you how to live. I'll tell you how to live. Why do you have the brimful of Asher going through your head? Brimful of Asher is a classic example why Fatboy Slim is the greatest musician and artist on the planet. He can take a really dull song and make it fantastic. Oh, I said corner shop. Right, yeah, okay. Do I build my own Urat cases? Well, that's an interesting question. No. Well, that's a short question. However, I am currently in the process of working on some little cases. Because I have this project. I'll tell you about this. I'm just going to adjust myself here. There we go. I'm working on a little project. A mad cat project as usual. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. The project is, I want to put all of the modular that I have that I don't use, I want to put it into use. I want to put it into people's hands. I want it to be out there helping people develop their consciousness and ideas and creativity when it comes to modular synths. So I've thought over the last couple of years of all sorts of different ways of trying to do it, whether you create some kind of library, lending library system, whether you sort of send them out in a cycle like a book club, one module to another person, and it brings up all sorts of thoughts about how do you do that without people running off with it, you know, the cost of postage and other bits and pieces, all sorts of barriers to actually making that happen, and also the administration of that, the paperwork, the bureaucracy, sorting that out, having to deal with people sending stuff out when they're, or not sending stuff back, that kind of thing. So anyway, these thoughts of this have been churning around my head for quite a long time, and I think I've settled on this idea that doesn't solve any of the problems, but just makes it a more elegant idea in of itself. And that is to, rather than send out a module to somebody who then tries it and sends it back or something, I'm going to build little systems. So little systems of three modules, maybe with a couple of Molten modules stuffed in there as well. then people will be able to subscribe to a ring of these little modular systems that then goes out. And you have it for a month, maybe 2 months, I don't know, for a month, and then you send it on to the next person in the chain, and it carries on round. And so you have this little system that that is put together by me, curated by me, in a little case, in a Molten case, and I'll do a video on it to show you. It will have. I'll have to come up with ideas on what to have in it in order for it to be interesting. So it might have a gate sequencer in, it might have an oscillator, it might have a utility, it might have an effect, it might have this, that, and the other. But a couple of things, not necessarily that can work standalone, but could be useful to add into a modular system. Because a 3-module modular system, I think, is quite hard. It always end up having to be more or less the same thing. So I'd like all of these systems to be different, have different ideas in them. So I just think that's interesting. It's not exactly a money spinner. It's not secure. But obviously depends on the people who want to get into it, So I've been talking to Lavendale at Schleider Machine. See, I'm never going to be able to pronounce that properly, which is going to be a working relationship issue. I don't have the thing at the moment. Schleidermaschine. It's German for typewriter, I believe. So anyway, Lavendale is going to, or has said that she'll be able to build some cases for me. Essentially, they'll be 3D printed with some kind of logo on the side. She does these brilliant colours. I've seen the cases that she's done, and they are awesome. So that's the plan, I think. And we're just trying to get the price under control, trying to build in some kind of power supply. And so these are going to be neat little systems that will be Molten branded and be fantastic. And we're going to call them things like, I don't know, Brenda or something. And it will be the Brenda system that will go out, and I can talk about that. And then there'll be another system called Dorothy, and that will go out. And so on and so forth. And people can then make videos about themselves using it or stuff. I might include a little notebook that people can put patch ideas in. If we imagine that it's going to be as awesome it could possibly be, start at that point, and then we can just slowly disappoint ourselves over time. And that'll be it. So yes, I am planning to build some little cases like that. And if that works really well, then maybe it will be something that we can also sell, the cases in that respect. Because they might be sort of fun and little and groovy. They'll be groovy anyway. So that's the plan. I haven't got anywhere other than talking about it so far. But one of the reasons for doing the auction the other week was to raise a bit of money to put towards that. So that's certainly, I hope to be able to do that. So to answer your question, do I make my own cases? Very, very early on, I made one out of cardboard, just 2 pieces of cardboard and some rails. So I have done that. But I wouldn't say, I have, well, funny enough, in my past, I have done woodwork. But I don't think I have the patience or the time or a workshop that's suitable for making cases as such. Because there's some beautiful work out there. So why... I wouldn't necessarily see the need for me to build my own in that space. There's enough building going on as it is. So there you go. It's a good question. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Pat testing. It depends where you go. If you take your own homemade case somewhere, that will definitely need pat testing, without a doubt. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing, I think the only way to tackle the lending idea is to just dismiss it. Is to just say, oh, it's just going to work. Because if you try to do it properly, you're then racking stuff up. You are building flight cases for things and having this, and then it gets really heavy and you're having to send it out, and you're going to need deposits from people, and then delivery charges and all that kind of thing. It's just too much. It's too messy. It's too difficult, and ultimately the only people who can afford to do it are people who might as well buy the modules in the first place. You have to be, the barrier to entry is too high. That it just doesn't, it's not worth it, I don't think. Whereas I'd like it to be something which is very, very accessible. And the only way I can do that is just by saying it's going to be fine and going with it, because there's no way. Otherwise the costs are too high. The cost is too high and it's just not going to happen. And I think that's a shame, because I think it's a lovely idea. And I am prepared to embrace the notion that people who support me, who are interested in being part of this ring of modular, would be the sort of people who would enter into it and would not just run off with it. I mean, obviously there's a massive threat of me outing them on the internet with my massive following to say that this person hasn't sent their module back. They must be bad. Let's shun them in the whole community, or we're going to send the boys around, that kind of thing. So, I mean, there's a certain amount of shame, potential shame involved in this kind of endeavour. I think you could shame people into doing it properly. But I would like to give it a try, because to me, it's all the stuff I have over there, I'm pointing at a big pile of modules, is criminal that it sits there unused. And it's because I'm very, very fortunate that people send me modules to try, and they tend to leave them with me, that I have this large collection. And there's no way. I mean, I tried having bigger cases and lots of cases and lots of stuff going on, but I just found it to be paralyzing. I wasn't able to make music because I had ultimately too many modules, whereas keeping it relatively small in 1 to 2 cases with a little bit here, that has really worked far better. And I've gotten to know the bits that are in the case and swap a few bits, try other bits, that kind of thing. But it's much more manageable, and I make more music having a small amount of gear. However, my role, my job, whatever it is that I get sent more modules and have to try them out and review them, and so I have this throughput going through. But it would be really great. It would make me feel awesome to think that I could have 30 modules out there somewhere, helping people with their own Eurorack journeys, because it will be cheaper, it'll be creative, it'll be interesting, it'll get you out of a rut, that kind of thing. And so, I mean, the way it would work is that you'd have to join us on Patreon. You have to join the right level, so it's not going to be free. It's going to have to pay for itself. So it would be like a 30 quid, 20 quid a month kind of subscription, and for that you would get a new modular system with 3-4 modules in it every month to play with. If that's your thing, then that could be awesome. And it would, I mean, the investment from my end, it would take probably a year to end up paying itself back. Just in the building, investing in the cases, and then the delivery and sending things out. But that's the only way I can see it can work. I mean, obviously it doesn't work. There's no business sense in it. There's no security in it, and it's a nonsense idea. But I love it as an idea and would very much like to pursue it. But I know, for instance, in America, New York has a synth library where they just lend stuff out, and I think that's brilliant. But I don't have the density of population where I live for that to really work. If I was to sit, in Norwich going, "Hey, do you want to borrow a synth?" I don't think there would be a whole lot of business for that. Hang on, somebody sent me a thing that looks like it's probably important. I bet it isn't, right? No, it's not important. It's Ken with his cat. Oops. So I thought it might be like there's a big error message on the screen or something somebody sent me through. Anyway, so yeah, that's the concept. So I like the idea that might be possible. Good idea for big synths that are unaffordable. No, I don't think that it would. For all of the reasons. No, I don't have a Digitac. I don't have any Electron gear. Asymmetrical? I can't, because, you know, the stupid thing about... really? My hair? The stupid thing about my camera is that the HDMI port is right in the side and it goes across the little screen, the preview screen, so I can't actually see myself. If I got asymmetrical hair, I'm not entirely sure what that means, but hey, let's change it. Let's change it to something else. Is that better or worse? I don't know. I don't know that I care. See, I can look at myself over there, but then I look at myself sideways. I can't quite catch myself. The right. You'd go mad with those sorts of things. Well, anyway, I suppose we should get on with looking at the telepathy thing. Should we do that? Failing anything else? Yeah, all right. Let's have a poke. Ugh. Let's have a poke. Right. So I haven't done anything other than got a little bit of sound out. So let me change this to that one. Hey, look at that! I love that when it works. You get a little effect to go on. I'm supposed to be really nonchalant about it and go, oh yeah, I know how to make that work. And then no, I just get very excited. Right, let me just adjust myself. Turn that a bit more like that. Got that noise. Good grief! I'm not going to put that quite so close in that case. So this is the telepathy bundle from Dreadbox. Hey, thanks, mate. That's appreciated. The oxycoral is funny but a little fiddly. There's a random comment. Right, so impossible interface, an entire full synth voice built into a tiny little module, which is going to drive us nuts, I suspect. But it has the advantage of being able to chain them together to create what is here a 6-voice synthesizer. I get the feeling I might need a keyboard. Otherwise, how am I going to do anything with this? I don't know. Too much hardness, I think. There's a lot of things I could potentially do. I mean, I've got the tetrachords here, which looks like a very kind of complicated thing. But it does. It's beautiful. But it does have a MIDI out, but there's no way I'm going to learn how to use all of that in the next couple of minutes as I'm faffing around trying to get something to work. So what I do have, what I did before we started, is I've got a sequence going into this one here, just an analog sequence. So I've got one thing going, and I'm playing that back through, a filter over there, which I don't actually need to do because it has its own filter. So I can get that working. How can I do that working? There's a card there. With that. Is that loud enough? What is that? Is that the filter? Could be the filter. Enough. Alright, it's in there somewhere. That's all I'm just trying to find. I'm just trying to find a basic synthesizer-y type sound. Now, in reviewing something like this, I will actually get to know it and understand it. At the moment, I literally have put this down, turned it on, had a look at the manual, which I found was completely useless. Had to go on the internet and just find anything which told me what the menu button was, and so that I could understand the concept, because this piece of paper here didn't mean anything to me. I was assuming that these colours here would change in this button here. But no, it doesn't. This button stays that colour all the time. And this is actually referring to these colours here. Look at that. Does that make sense of these hieroglyphs here? Because it's LFO, VCO, filter. Oh, alright. I'm starting to see it now. And then envelope. As I press this, it rotates through these colours here. So at the top here, that's to do with an LFO. So what's the LFO doing? It's going into the I don't know. Slider 3 picture mount. Doesn't do anything. Oh, here we go. So that's the LFO rate. You see, I've been reading the larger one rather than the smaller one. I thought that was a title, and actually no, that's the main event. So that's putting the LFO into the FM input. LFO wave. Longer sound. So if I go down to envelope, why has that gone away? Don't understand that at all. That should be VCA envelope time. I totally killed it. Oh, I don't know, somehow brought it back. Go back to the LFO. Oh, multiple menu slider thingies. I don't know about this fella here. There, you just got to work it out, man. Okay, so I can deduce from that that there is an entire voice in here. You've just got to find it. You've got to get used to it. You've got to work out. You've got to be able to work out what all these bits do. I mean, I'm thinking as I'm moving through the menus that I would like to be able to customize that, because I would like, for instance, if I was using this in a performance, there could be 4 things that I would like to have to control, like filter cutoff, like the envelope for the filter cutoff, like the pulse width modulation or the wave shape. And it would be, I don't know whether this is possible or not, I don't know whether this is a feature or not, but it would be awesome if you could allocate things to the sliders rather than having to page through to find the thing, with your brain having to shift because the sliders are changing to control different parameters all the time, which is my favorite thing. I love that. I love multi-use, multifunctional, multi-menu sliders all the time. So I wonder if that's a thing. But there, I think I was able to discover all the bits that ultimately we needed. They are in there. It's just a matter of learning it. I stumbled my way through it, and we kind of came out the other end with a thing that sounded a bit like a synthesizer voice, and that's all in a single module, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Just a question of learning it, isn't it? Hands up, anyone who prefers sliders to rotary controls. I do and I don't. It's an odd thing. I think sliders give you that. Sometimes you're sort of fingernailing them up and down a little bit, and that can be because can be hard to do a small change. I find on a fader, on a slider, because there seems to be a resistance to it, and I'm not sure that I've moved it enough. So I find small things, whereas on a knob, small movement is very, very easy. Very, very easy. So, swings and roundabouts, I think. Throw in a few more voices. Yeah, obviously. One step at a bleeding time. Make a patch, please. Cool, you're so flipping demanding. Oh, whose house is this? Oh, dear. Drones, is there? See, the problem is you're asking me to do something where I don't know. I have no idea how you do any of that. But hey. Yeah. All right. So, okay. Yeah, it is a bit like the 8 voice. Yeah. Oddly, isn't it? Because you've got these individual voices that you're fiddling with, which could be really interesting in many respects. Now, we could open this, which kind of tells us how to do the thing. But that's with MIDI in. I wonder whether it's you can have analog in, which then does unison across the whole lot. That seems unlikely. I might have to go to MIDI, which is a pain because I don't quite have the room. Well, I'm going to have to work that out, aren't I? Going to have to work that out. But for the moment, let's just follow the basic instructions. It came with a whole load of these cables, which is cool. Oh, I'm going to have to break the seal, man. Oh, you stapled them together. What are you thinking? Right, so don't need that for the minute. So the idea is you go MIDI out to MIDI in. See, that is a glorious use of MIDI TRS. That's what should have happened, where you suddenly have MIDI ports within your modular, within any system, which connects together with a little stereo cable. Brilliant. I thought that was awesome, but they stuffed it up. They stuffed it up with this whole AB thing, so you can just never be sure. They created such a level of uncertainty and instability that it's become useless. It's the biggest ball drop, I think, that there's ever been. So we're chaining these together, right? This is awesome. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. I've got one left. Why would that be? What happens at the end? Nothing? Nothing. Right. So we've got a spare then. Is that what you're saying? I mean, I guess this goes to the input, but I need something to plug it into. Anyway, so I will need some longer cables. So I've got a left-right output here, which I'm going to plug in to my mixer over here. That's one. I have a longer cable. Oh, what's that plugged into? Oh, heck! That's plugged in. I can use that. Turn all those bits down. Bum, 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 bum. So the next thing, they do come. You do get a lot of patch cables in the box, but I'm using these fabulous Erica Synths ones at the moment, which are just the best. I think I'll stick with Monophony. Monophony. Is that a word? As I say, I'm losing it a little bit. So audio out then goes in, because this little thing over here, this Psychosis one, which you can't see because there's a, which cable's in the way? This cable is in the way. This over here, the Psychosis, is a mixer, stereo mixer. And it has 6 inputs for our 6 voice Flip. So this can all go in there. You can also have it 3-channel stereo if you prefer, or at least that's what it looks like. So do I have, I bet I don't have these all the right sort of, just gonna have to go with it. That's a long one, shorten. So we're kind of expecting this to actually suddenly just work, which there's probably a lot more one has to do. Oh, another really short one here. Let's go for some short ones. I can put that one. Make it complicated. That's always the best bet. Make it complicated. This one, plug it into number 1. Lovely. Look at all that. That's just gorgeous. Sorry, that's in the way. So that's the basic connections. So if I put my sequence back through. Oh. I already have a reverb in my signal chain somewhere. That's really nice, and I also have this other thing. That's chorus, I think. I feel there should be a little bit of colour on this here button to tell you what effect you've got going on. But hey, not going to worry about it too much. Anyway, so we've still just got one voice going on. And presumably that's because I'm using analog. Move the analog and use a MIDI in. Yeah, probably. But like I say, that's a difficulty. So I'm going to resist that for just a little bit longer while I think about it and wonder if there's a way around that. Probably not. Chain mode. Chained. What do these things mean? Ah, oh, okay. What does PC mean in referring to MIDI, do we think? PC. PC. Pitch control? Pitch control could be. Alright, so all the audio out needs to be at 50%. Let's just do a little bit of that. So it wants me to swap these over. So what? So odd ones go to the left side. Odd numbers go to the left side. That's that one. That one. And that one. The other ones go to the right side. Apparently that's important. Let's do that. There are quite a few ways to use it, from Unison to polyphonic synth, 6-voice multi-channel, multi-timbral. All these settings are achieved by setting the control on the master voice by activating, deactivating the CC, so continuous controller, and P program changes for each individual module. So program changes. I've also got save and load, haven't we? So what it's saying is, I think, that you can load up one on a master, and that will then load that into all the others. That's interesting. Lots of experimentation, it suggests. It doesn't suggest anything about having analog in, going to MIDI out. Oh, hard. Heck. It's going to have to be MIDI, isn't it? Can't get around it. Don't think I can get around it. Well, funny enough, I was having this conversation in the comments of another video where someone was asking about polyphony and how great polyphony is in Modular, and why aren't I doing polyphony? And I should be doing some videos on polyphony, which, funny enough, I have done some. But, you know, I kind of agree with you in that if you are... what was that? That if you want polyphony, buy a synthesizer. You know, that will sort it. If you want to use a keyboard and you want multiple voices from those keys, then really they've got that sorted out. They know how to do it. They've worked it out and they've stuffed it into an actual synthesizer. That's not to say you can't do polyphony within Modular, and also that's not to say that there aren't advantages, or rather differences, excuse me, in doing that, because like with the Oberheim 8-voice, it's different. It's different to a normal synthesizer, because synthesizer architecture kind of got designed a way to make it as simple and user-friendly as possible, in which case it lost a lot of the interesting difference and nuance you can do by having individual control over individual voices. And that's what you can do in Modular, and that's completely valid, and I get that. I get that can be interesting. But the enormous amount of work you need to put in to achieve that perhaps is less interesting, and maybe it doesn't really lend itself to that, and actually everyone's life would be easier if you just use a synthesizer. However, the reality is that we have this thing, and so it's worth investigating, I think. Now I can't move that back any further. I'm trying to think how I get a keyboard in here, but that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to probably unplug that. What time are we on? Is it time for bed yet? So, come on. Let's be a big boy about it. Let's unplug all of this. Oh, that's all plugged in down there. Move that out of the way. Move that out of the way. Anything else plugged in? Possibly not. This is like playing cat's cradle or something, isn't it? Two there. Look at that. No drama. I'll trip over it later. Let's put that down there for the minute. Behave yourself. Right. What was I doing this for? Oh yeah. I remember. So what I'm gonna do, I'll put this up on here, I think, to make it slightly more difficult for you to see. Maybe I don't need to do that. Do I need to do that? Oh, let's go. That's it. You can see my knees now. See, that's exciting. Now there must be somewhere the other end of a MIDI cable. There usually is. It's the wrong sort. So where's that going? Let's go into that. Oh, forgot about that. This is going to that. No, hang on. Oh, there's one. Good old trusty Novation MIDI cable. Because it's blue. There we go. There. Right there. Now I need my MIDI cable. Now honestly, like, it's no trouble. So I have no idea whether that's on the end of there is the sort of one that would work if I just plugged it straight in. That is the great cruelty about TRS MIDI. But let's just assume that it might be. Well, I do have the other one, obviously, but that just requires me unplugging something, which is a whole other step that I'd rather not have to do, you know? You know? Out. See, this is where our love-hate relationship with MIDI really starts to show itself. It's not on. It's still not on. Why is it not on? What did I do wrong? There we go. So let's take out the analog bit. Let's turn the sound on. Right, let's unplug this. And let's use the one they sent with it. MIDI in. There's still nothing. Oh, that was sad, wasn't it? Okay. Audio out. I turned that off. This is going to there, which is going to here. Did I lose anything in the signal chain? I've got that going on. Let me just make sure I'm getting sound out first. So that's a yes. That's the panning. The gate, here's the gate. Gate's going into there, into there. Okay. Shift, MIDI channel. See? MIDI. You hate it. You absolutely hate it. Okay, so interestingly, are you still seeing this from above? You are, yeah. So let me do that and do a bit of that and do a bit of that. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the lights? Yes, this way. So these MIDIs are changed. And so it appears to be hitting each voice separately. Is it random? Because I've got, so this is these two playing together. And I got that one. Then I got this one. No, that one over there. Then this one. Those two. Then that one. Then that one. How interesting. I've no idea what mode this is set in, if it's set into any mode at all. We'll have a look at that in a second. But is that polyphony? It is, kinda. Evidently it's not tuned yet. Hey, Solid BPM over in Twitch land. Does sound like honky tonk piano. It does, yeah. I know exactly what you mean. So there must be some more steps we can do. So set the modules into unison mode. Press the menu button on the first module, then press menu and voice buttons at the same time to enter chain mode. So press the menu button. I mean, I'm assuming this is the menu button. And then press menu and voice buttons at the same time. Or is this the menu button? And is that the voice button? See, again, it doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you what that is. There's nowhere on here that tells you which button is which. Right, so I'm going to make an executive decision that the menu button must be the save load button. Is that right? I mean, and then the other one must be the voice button. So if I press the menu button, so it's flashing, then I press those two together, it's now going ding dong, okay. Same time, press menu again once, the white LED will be lit. Yeah. Finally, press the voice button to exit. Now the 6 are in unison play mode. Are they now? Yeah, they flipping are. Right, let's see if we can get them in tune. So you go to the second thing. We put them all just to the top, then that's got to be right, yeah? Put them all to the Now, there might be something else going on. Let's turn the CC and program change on for all modules. So enter the fourth menu page, white LED. Okay. Set all sliders to 0 and then 100. For each of the 6 modules. So set them all to 0 and then to 100 and press the voice button. If you do that on all 6 modules, then program change will be activated, allows us to control everything from the one module. But you should be in mind, you should also set the first module into hard master mode. Alright, we'll get to that in a minute. 4th menu, that's on like that. You do that, 4th menu, set all the sliders to 0 and then 100%. Press the voice button, set it to white, set everything to 0 and 100, press the voice button. So you're at mid-gig, right? And you decide you want to set it into hard master mode. Now, no one said that this wasn't a weird thing. Alright, okay. Hard master, press the menu button. Press both voice and menu. Press and hold the menu button. If the voice LED goes high, then you have hard master on. If it goes dark, it's soft master. In the second case, press and hold. It's still flashing, so what does that mean? Get rid of that. Oh, it's still in a thing. Oh, I've got... What's going on now? Oh, I've got it all going. Right, press the menu button. Let's try this again. Press the menu button. Press both voice and menu buttons. Press and hold the menu button. If the voice LED goes high, I really don't know. If it's soft, hold the menu again until the voice goes high. I evidently can't be in the thing it wants me to be in. So press menu, press them twice, hold that. I don't know. Is that what it was? Enter tuning mode on all modules. Press the voice button. Press the voice and menu button. And then do that on all 6. Do that, do that, do that, do that, do that, and that, that, and that, that, and that. Okay. Tune everything with respect to the first module. Tune the volume on modules 3, 4, 5, 6 down, so you only got 1 and 2. Okay. Alright, that's a good thing to know. Press a key and use first slider on the second module to sync the 2 modules. But they're not anywhere near each other. Needs to go further. What do I do with that? Oh. better. Right, I'm going to have to go to here. Then press those, press that, press that, press that. Why can't I have them play at the same time? Because it's in Unison mode. Is that as close as it seems to be as close as I'm going to get? Right, so let's do that one. Let's try and go for this one. Maybe I'm overthinking it. No way that's acting as a hard master, is it? It's not controlling anything else. And I've got everything now in tune and playing in unison. So I can try to do what it said about the hard master again. Press the menu button, press both buttons, press and hold the menu button. Okay, fair enough. Interesting. Yeah, some success. No, it doesn't. I'm using it in Unison mode. Hello? Using it in Unison mode. Now, we're going to move to Polyphony before we all fall asleep. Or it might be me first. So, we have the ability to link to each other to achieve Polyphony. Hooray! To do that, we have to enter chain mode. Press the menu button. While on the menu pages, I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming because I've pressed that button, that's the thing that happens. Press both menu and voice buttons once to enter chain mode. But I've done that a lot. How can that be? Because I've done all that with this thing over here to try to do the thing with the... Oh my goodness. Chain mode is indicated by alternate flashing of the button LEDs. Alright, so those are flashing. This one isn't flashing. They're not alternate flashing, they are other flashing. Right, okay. So I've pressed that button, then I press the two together. Now those are alternating. So I presumably got to do it with all of them. To select the preferable amount of voices, press as many times the menu button on the first module while pressing the button. What? To select the preferable amount of voices, number of telepathy modules in the chain. Yes, press as many times the menu button of the first module. While pressing the button, the alternate flashing appears to the module that is being linked. What? So oh my goodness me. Tricky at the start. Thanks for that, Thomas. I believe you. Alright, so what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 voices. 5, 6. 6 voices. Great. Those have all stopped. Oh, well, that was actually easy. There we go. Polyphony. I'm still weirded out by many great things. So let's go down to... So that's with the blue. Blue is the... Oh, that's high pass filter. What I would like to do try to give it a bit of length. That's better. Oh, wrong thing. playing far too many notes. Well, there we go. I think that's enough. I think we got somewhere. I think we persevered. I think we could almost say we cracked it. There's some things I still don't quite understand, but that's kind of me. That's the way that I live and I operate in a level of misunderstandingness. But yeah, I think we got something interesting out towards the end there. We were finding things. Now, what is going to be interesting, I think, is looking at it from the point of view of having different voices sounding different, and then being able to play with that. That would be interesting. And also trying to find a breadth of sound. It's a bit like the Nymphus in that respect, in that while it's a lovely thing to play with, there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of depth to the different sort of tones you can get. Well, I mean, maybe that's actually the reality of a polyphonic analog synthesizer, is that without a lot of FM and cross modulation or wave folding, then the sounds are relatively limited, but they're limited to the sounds that we like to some degree. Yeah. Interesting. I almost feel I want to add a MIDI controller which has a whole bunch of sliders on it, like I do have one here, to control, because it's MIDI, you must be able to CC into all the different bits and pieces, so that I could have all the controls laid out in front of me, rather than this stepping through that you have with the button. Because, I mean, it's efficient in terms of space, I'll give them that, but it's not a joyful interface in terms of getting to everything that you want. Although, I mean, some of that is going to be knowing where it is and not being quite so unsure. So there's some bits I'm still not entirely sure what that slider's doing. Is that envelope time, or is it envelope in amount, or is it, so there's things that one has to learn when one is playing with it before you can really pass judgment on those sorts of things. But I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, I really like the fact that you've pulled all these voices out separately. So you're looking at a synthesizer in a particular way. Is that noise coming from me? Possibly something else. So, yeah, like somebody mentioned the Oberheim 8 voice. I like that idea. Of playing with these voices individually. I think that's something which Modular can do that other things can't. You just have to balance the amount of faff with the synthesizer payoff, I suppose. That's the thing. That's the thing. So it is 9:45, so I think I might sort of slowly start bringing this to a close. Any other comments down there in the old what's it? Is it similar to the Decard stream? It is. It is almost exactly, Ken, a Decard stream. Almost exactly. You're not impressed then, Ian? Yeah, the filtering is the thing that I feel is let down at the moment. I'm not quite loving that. Now that could be a combination of not quite getting the sliders right on the envelope amount, and the envelope height, or the type of envelope. So I've no idea what type of envelope it is that I'm selecting half the time. And so it's that whole thing with filters. If you have too much envelope on it, it just opens it and you don't ever get to hear the effect. you need it to sort of open a bit and then pull down, or something of that sort of nature. And something which, well, it seems at the moment challenging to try to find that, because really ultimately I know that I want to have an extraordinary filter. That is always important to me, and the filters that I have and I use I like, because I'm able to create these wonderfully crafted, sculpted, harmonic, searing sounds, and if the filter is a bit kind of it's there, it's kind of there, it's not there, then that's a lot less interesting. But I'm also not fully convinced that it's controlling all of them, perhaps. So I'll look into this deeper. I mean, I'm not doing a review for anyone in particular. I'm just doing a video on this one myself because I'm interested. And so I will spend a bit of time with it and look into that sometime soon. Not immediately, because I have a pack of other stuff I have to do first before I get to that. But hey, it was an interesting start, and I feel now that I can approach it with a certain determination. At least I'm going to sit down and watch somebody else wrangle with the setting up of it, so that I can understand what it is that I'm doing. Because that reading the manual in my current state, where I'm a bit overtired and I have a beer, it's not really functioning for me as a source of information, shall we say. Oh dear, that's funny. Is it a DIY kit? I don't believe so, no. Has anyone played around with a Plinky? I have a kit. Where is it? I have a Plinky kit. I intend, as one of those things I intend to get to build and have a play with. So yes, I'd love to. If someone could give me sort of 6 months where the whole world just stands still and lets me do 6 months worth of work, and then I can return and time starts again, that's the sort of thing I would have ready by then. But at the moment I'm just playing catch up the entire time. Night Prometheus. With all this hand pink waving, I guess they're emoticons. Yeah. See, if you want to do the whole emoticon thing, you really should be on Twitch. That's where you should be for all of that. Okay. All right. So any other last gasps before I wind this up? Let me tell you what I'm doing next. Oh, for people who... Matt, hi, how you doing? On people who are concerned about my... nobody was concerned about the hammock, because no one believes it's a real thing. Apparently the Mexican hammock people are currently in Mexico. They told me today, saying, oh, really sorry. We know you've ordered something. We can't do anything about it because we're currently in Mexico, filling our luggage full of hammocks. So we'll be back next week, and then they'll send it out. So I haven't had the opportunity yet to relax in the hammock. So that's still something that's coming. I've bought it. I've bought the hammock. It will be here in a week or two. Good Lord. Thank you, Matt. That's very kind. Oh, you're such a sweetie. That's much appreciated. You gorgeous man. Gorgeous bear of a man. Did I get any further? Did you get any further explanations on the disting? What sort of question is that? No. Did I have questions on it that needed exploring? I don't remember that I did. I thought I completely nailed it. I thought me and the disting are sort of now like this, and I can pull stuff out of it just in a moment. In a moment, I can do that. So I don't know what you mean, unless you're just being cheeky. Exploring. Oh, I see. Have I done it for? No, I haven't. I haven't. Now, what I would like to do with the disting is, I mean, I need to get my act together. I mean, basically, I can pour out ideas. I just don't have the bandwidth to turn them into anything which actually functions. What I would like to do with the disting is to sample stuff, is to capture stuff, is to make instruments on it that I can then let people have. So as stuff comes through here, I can create instruments, and I think that's a really useful thing to do and to contribute, and I think would ultimately be interesting. So I would like to do that, just don't have the time or the process at the moment. So but I don't really see myself, I mean, I will now look into it if there's something in it that I require, but I don't see myself actively searching out anything else in the disting for the moment, because I don't particularly enjoy using it, as simply put. It's phenomenally useful and powerful, I understand that, and there are elements of it that I want to use, but on the most part I would rather use something which has a front panel and knobs on it. Yeah, Booze Modular, you came in a little bit late, I think. Yes, I have. I talked at length about the module library idea, in as much as that, just to re-summarize that quickly, the place where I've got to with it is that rather than sending out modules, I want to send out little systems that have a little bit more to them than just a single module. So I'm going to build little systems like a 40 HP case, so powered with 3 modules and a Molten motion meter, I imagine. And those will be what gets sent out. So you have a 3 module little system that you can run into your thing, and it will be curated by me to work together usefully, perhaps, but also that we can build up a selection of patches that have been useful that people have found for these little boxes, and we can treat them as entities and talk about them as if they're a thing, as opposed to just individual modules. That to me sounds a lot more interesting, a lot more engaging as a community, and obviously a lot more risky and expensive from my point of view. But hey, I'm crazy like that. Crazy I am. So I'm going with that at the moment. It will take some time, but I think that would be nice. I'm going to try my best to make that happen. Well, at least I'll get one built. I mean, I can do that. I'll get one built, send it to some bloke who'll run off with it, and that will be fantastic, and all my fears will be realised. Yeah, thanks, Alcadroid. I appreciate that. Are you getting the new EDU kit? I'm getting the labour thing, the laboratory, as somebody pointed out to me, the Erica Synths thing. Yes, and I have an idea that I want to work on it with. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know whether you can get that and then somehow start making modules, but my assumption is that that's the idea behind it, and I'm going to go with that. So, I mean, my module making at the moment, I do have a new module coming out in July, I think. Soon. Should be very soon, a new module, which is terribly exciting. And I've been working with Bafako again, and it's a production issue now. It's just waiting for it to arrive and be done and be finished, and then we can talk about it and do sort of things. But I have other module ideas, one of which they've started work on. But the time scale of building and realizing a module is like 18 months, and it's a long time, and they're busy and they have other things to do, and I'm sort of trying to squeeze things in, say, oh, make this module, this is brilliant, this will be brilliant, right? So anyway, so I've got another new one I'm working on them with. It will be around sometime in 2025. So I thought in the meantime I've got quite a simple idea for something which I can't seem to find anywhere that I would like to produce, and so I'm going to try to build that myself on this breadboard. It could be possible. I've no idea. That would be fascinating. So that's what I'm gonna do with this Erica Synths EDU DIY labor station. Could be great. Do you know when they're going to ship the one eye roll, the runny Rui? I think about now. They're sending me a kit one, funnily enough, which should be turning up this week. So I think they have them now. They must be going out to shops and stuff like that. Certainly from the kit point of view. So it must be about ready. What is the new module, or is it top secret? It's not top secret. You've already seen it in other videos and bits and pieces. It's in that other case now. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I do want to keep a little bit of mystery around it. It's simple. It's I like it more and more. I had this a moment of doubt about it, because like I say, it takes 18 months. Been working on it for ages and ages and ages. But of course, you do the work early on, and then it's just tweaking, and then it's prototyping backwards and forwards, things like that. So, I came to this point where I thought, is this useful? I really don't know. I've lost the sense of whether this thing is even any use to anybody. Is it just too much, too overly fussy about doing a simple thing that you want to be able to do? But anyway, I've fallen back in love with it now, and I think it's fantastic. And I'm thinking up all sorts of ways to use like half a dozen of them at once. So it's it's more of a utility kind of module. It's not necessary by any stretch, but it could bring some really interesting and creative vibes to your system. I don't think I'm ever gonna produce anything quite as lovely as a Molten motion meter. That was just a perfect little thing that you don't need. You don't need to have it, but it is useful in like 3 different directions, and it's a beautiful thing to look at. This thing here, it's just a lovely invention, a lovely module. Very immensely proud of how that turned out. That's just brilliant, and I use it, genuinely use it. Oh, I got one here too, and that was great. I don't think I'll ever be able to come up with something quite so just as that, but as I say, the new one. I'll obviously be doing a lot of stuff about it. It's cool. I think it's very cool. Yeah. So there you go. Talk that up a little bit. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Late June. So yeah, about now they are shipping it. As I say, I should have one next week. When I'm going to have a chance to solder it together, I do not know. So okay. So to wrap this up, then, just to let you know what's happening next. I have a couple of days of careers in music to do, writing for them. Got a lot more writing to do for Perfect Circuit. If you've not seen that, I'm out. I publish a whole range of weird and different articles of Perfect Circuit. It's been brilliant writing for them. They send me these titles of just crazy stuff to do with synthesizers and technology and bits and pieces, and short description, and leave it to me to write it up. And it's been fascinating. I've learned all sorts of things about stuff. So on the Perfect Circuit website, you can go there and you'll see my blog amongst all the other blogs up there. So I've got that to get stuck into as well. I've got half a dozen sound on sound reviews to do. I had to do, as I mentioned in the Molten Monthly, I had to do one last week as a bit of an emergency one. That they suddenly got their hands on something and they wanted to get it in the next edition, and so I lost a whole week to that. So I'm even further behind. So yeah, I've got a lot of writing to do over the next week, certainly. So video wise, I'm desperate to do videos. It's just hard fitting it in just at the moment. But obviously I've got the telepathy here. I've got the plasma of things that are really interesting to do. Got the plasma to do, got the tetrachords to look at, got the algo to look at, got the play fader to look at, which is over here. All of those deserve decent videos, so I want to give them some time. And from then I've got a lot of legacy stuff, a lot of stuff that was sent me ages ago that I need to get into, including a whole load of DIY kits. So tons and tons, and it's about to be the summer. So I don't know how I'm fitting all any of this in, but I need to keep at it. So yeah, lots of stuff to do, lots of stuff to bring, and hopefully that'll be interesting moving ahead. Oh yeah, and the Surface, all that sort of nonsense I've got to think about. Yeah, I was going to do a video on that, wasn't I? I don't know if I have anything more to say than I did in the Molten Monthly, but hey, I think an individual video on it would capture a lot of views. So I'm a tart for the views, so I'll have to give that a go. I got that game I'm going to make. I need my hammock. That's what I need. I need to sit in my hammock and let it all pass me by. Right, good. So thanks for joining me this evening. That was interesting, actually. Frustrating and then interesting. And I don't mind that. I don't mind things being tricky to start with. That's okay. I was quite pleased with where we got to in the end. Sound and voltage. Well done. Well done for making it. Yeah, the whole Copilot AI thing bothers me too. Yeah, great. So thanks everyone. Oh, shall I play us out with a bit more of the thing? I am available for sound tracks, cinematic experiences. If you're out there making a movie, you've got a spare $500,000 to drop on a soundtrack, give us a call. Do I play weddings? Yes, I do. I do play weddings. So I'm interested again now. Cool. All right, that'll do us. That'll do us. Funerals? Yeah. I've played the lot, mate. I've played the lot. Been playing in church for now 40 years. Today I played at a meeting of the Christian Motorcycle Association. You know, you just never know what's going to happen next. Anyway, I will... where's my thing? I'll try to find my outro. And... not that one, that one. That one. So there. And I will see you soon. What's the thing I say? Go and make some tunes.